Hi, everybody. Welcome along to episode 54 of Percussion Discussion. Hope you're all well and happy out there. Please check out our social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, our world famous YouTube channel. Please subscribe to this if you can. It only takes a second. Not only does it help us, but it will ensure that you don't miss any of the interviews that we've done or any of the fantastic things that we have coming up, and there are quite a few of those, so wouldn't want you to miss those. If you prefer to listen on the go, then you can find all of our conversations in podcast form on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. So please, if that's your thing, then check those out, download them, leave us a review, all helps. On to today's guest. It's a little bit different today. We are joined by a fabulous UK actor, comedian, narrator, writer. He's done a lot of things. You will have seen him in The Fast Show, Cold Feet, Coronation Street, 24-Hour Party People, Men Behaving Badly. There's a blast from the past. I'm pretty certain by now you'll have worked out who this is. But as well as being a fine actor, he is also a wonderful drummer. He's been playing for 30-odd years, and if you're lucky enough to hail from the northwest area, you will have seen him at numerous drum events, taking part, hosting, just watching, sat with the rest of us. He's a great guy. I had a really great time chatting to him. It gives me huge pleasure to welcome the wonderful Mr. John Thomson.
Thanks for inviting me. Here I am at long last. Yeah. Thanks for persevering, because it's weird because people think, I think because of the pandemic, everyone thinks, well, you're on your arse. Well, I was more so last year,
yeah.
But I kind of, I'm always busy. If it's cleaning the bathroom, I'm busy. You know what I mean? I'm very domesticated. I live alone, and I'm quite tight. I'm not borderline neat freak, and I like things in place. So I kind of, like I say, that's one way I'm always busy. I'm back to gardening lately, just sorted out my garden, and someone lent me some of them croppers, you know, those long things, because my lawn keeps dying. And yesterday, my neighbour lent me them. Oh my God, brilliant! Now I can see the light I've got back is amazing. So anyway, that's what to do with drums. So
hey, that's fine. But you know, obviously, you've mentioned the key word there, drums. Now, a lot of people, when they see this advertised, they'll go, "What's he doing on a drummer podcast?" You know, and for drummers, especially in the Northwest, well, and the UK, really, we've kind of seen you at all sorts of events. Obviously, you're known for acting, for comedy, for voiceovers, for everything really, apart from drums. You know, in the entertainment world, but drums is a big part of your life, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and it has been for many years. I started playing, there was like a school drum club at lunchtime in the music room, and they bought a kit. And I walked past and I could hear this, but I was always one of those. There's so many drummers say that, you know, mum and dad would be like, put it down, put your cutlery down. Do you know what I mean? So I was always fiddling, tapping. I am a bit, if we look at the spectrum now, I kind of fall into a bit of an ADD kind of realm, you know. I don't really sit still for long. I'm always like I said, I'm always busy.
Yeah.
So drums is a kind of nice way to focus, really. I think one thing I do like listening to meditation things, and it said one of the important things about focus is whatever the focus is in that you're on, whatever the subject matter is in hand, if you remain focused within that, and that's when the flow comes.
Yeah.
And that's when you're immersed, and that's that really lovely kind of present, you know, when you're playing and you think, oh my God, I'm right in the zone here.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So I think I found in the past that it was quite therapeutic to drum as a way of kind of just like being right there in the zone. So I convinced mum and dad sat us down. I have a younger brother, Ben, and they said, "Would you like to play an instrument?" Ben went, "Guitar, maybe piano," and they went, "John," and I went, "Drums," and they went, "Oh no." Really? And I went, "Yeah." They went, "Well, what if you had lessons?" And I went, "Yeah." And I was dead serious. I went, "I mean it. And when I want to play." And lo and behold, I grew up in Preston, so I've not been to Manchester all my life. And in the Lancashire Evening Post, we bought an Olympic kit for £99, and it served its purpose brilliantly. It was a kind of burgundy kind of shimmer, kind of not a sparkle, but it had a burgundy grain in it, and it was quite nice. But the cymbals were terrible. I had Ajax hi-hats, and I had Crut hi-hats.
Oh, lovely.
Ajax Crash Ride. And you know when they sound sour?
Yep.
Yeah, that sour sound. I call them biscuit tin lids. But it was, to keep time, you could play. And then I was enrolled with John Hicks, who at the time played for Leyland Vehicles Brass Band.
Yes.
Who had a hit with that, the England song, This Time. Do you remember that?
I do, actually, yes.
Now, John was the drummer for Leyland Vehicles Brass Band. Also played in a big band. And John taught me the ropes. And what he did were very clever. I mean, it's like that thing of, when you start to learn the horror of just being told to take everything away and just to be a snare drum, is just the worst thing, because we all want to be rocking and swinging and just have to sit there. And do you know what? It's one of those things. He said your neighbours will hate you because of the practice, because it was mummy daddy rolls and paradiddles. So double stroke rolls and paradiddles and double single treble paradiddles were the three core things I had to do. But what I did was I stuffed my snare drum with newspaper, but it didn't affect the bounce. So I did that, and I stuck with it every night. I would go mainly double stroke roll, mummy daddy. Sure. And when that comes together, there's nothing quite like it.
There isn't.
It's unbelievable.
I'm glad you said that.
It's so amazing, because you think it's one of those things, but practice makes the impossible possible, and I'll stick with that. And then once you're away with that, then he would introduce the rest of the kit, and then you can obviously formulate around the rudiments onto the kit, and that's the idea, isn't it? But I just forgive the strange noise. It's bin day today, and it sounds like Godzilla. It needs oiling, the thing.
Right, okay. Yeah.
It sounds like sometimes some prehistoric creatures walking up the road. So if you can hear that in the background.
They're wondering where the garden's gone.
So the Olympic kit, that was great, served me well. And then I got a pearl wood fiberglass kit.
Nice.
Which is, I've still got.
Great sounding drums, those.
Electric blue. Steve Gadd used to play those before he went to Yamaha.
Yeah.
So I've still got them. But are you ready for this? 24 bass drum.
Oof.
I know, John Bonham. So my dad became an expert roadie because my movement to learn the ropes. One thing John would do cleverly was he would try and get you a work, Mm-hmm. Now, I tried brass bands, wasn't for me. Basically, it is an introduction not to music, but to alcoholism. And I didn't like it. When I look back, I just no. And I was on percussion.
Yeah.
So I wasn't on drums, and the drummer wasn't particularly good. And I was on timps, and it was hand tuning with pitch back.
Right.
Not pedal.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
No.
This is get me reading better, really.
Yeah. Well, this is my upbringing was brass bands as well, so it sounds quite a similar. I played for lots of top section bands, so
yeah.
That's
two things I like was music, because it was kind of it was a so it was like slightly funkier, and I loved Blaze Away.
Right, okay.
I love Blaze Away. But sometimes the drummer goes sick, and I would be so happy because I was back on kit. But playing bells and it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But then one thing John Hicks did. There's quite a few drummers that were taught by John who came through. Paul Turner, he plays with he played with the Halley. My mate Chris Huff, he plays with the Slow Show.
Mm-hmm.
Chris is a great drummer. John's a great teacher, and what he did was he taught you every dance beat going from mambo to tango to, and it was for the working men's clubs, which I did when I was younger, and loved that. Loved to play that. Back in the vocalists though,
with the organist.
Oh yeah. But it was great when you had a great organist who would slip his shoe off and he'd play the bass on the floor. Because that really rocks when you're swinging.
Yeah.
But if it was just playing the one, it was a bit pedestrian, wasn't it? It's like I've always said in jazz, and the irony is anyone who's watching will go, that's the bloke that does jazz club. I love jazz, but particularly really jazz fusion. That was when my ears lit up, when I kind of started listening to early jazz, funk and fusion. But the thing about trad is the bass is taken away. So if you realize how cool a double bass, that's replaced with the only instrument you actually wear a Susan. And it just kind of loses its cool a bit for me there, you know what I mean?
I've always had a phobia with clarinets as well outside of an orchestra, so it's,
And the reed cracks, the cracked reed, it's always a bit, So, and it really cut my teeth on the drums and just kind of, you know, because it would be quite, a lot of the drums would be the same weekend in, weekend out.
Yeah.
But what I would do is kind of use it as practice, just to kind of like. When I started, you got to remember the resources available for drummers. When I started, there were 2 VHSs that every drummer owned, and one was Steve Gadd Up Close, and Steve Gadd in Session. I think I've got a Lenny White in Clinic somewhere, and some quite. But there was nothing. There was nothing really. There was no YouTube. There was nothing, and it was kind of. We used to listen. Yeah. To listen to records and go, "What's he doing there? What's going on with that left hand? How's he ghosting that?" And it was for a drummer. I mean, I'm 52 now. For a drummer my age to learn from just audio alone and pick things up, that is skill.
Yeah.
Kids have no idea how blessed they are.
It's a cliche, but it's true. It's true.
There's so many good drummers now because of the resources that we have, which is brilliant. I don't think that. I don't think, oh, no, there's too many drummers. They're not enough as far as I'm concerned. And because they're all good. Yeah. It's like the equivalent is makeup, girls. It used to be pink lipstick and blue eyeshadow. But my 2 now, my 18-year-old, she looks like she's been done by a professional. She actually does makeup. Yeah. So because of all the resources available to us now, we can learn so much more. You know, people. But what I remember seeing a clinic, and funnily enough, I think it was Greg Bissonette, and he went, "Do you want to hear a joke?" And they went, "Yeah." He goes, "What do you throw a guitarist when he's drowning?" And they went, "Don't know." He went, "His amp." Plugged in. And I thought that's brilliant. And they were saying that there's something nice about the fellowship of drummers, because if someone goes, "How do you do that?" They go, that's how you do it. Where a guitarist goes, "I ain't showing you my licks, man."
It's true.
There is a real lovely, I know everyone says we're mad, and there's some truth in that. I mean, there's some movie where he goes, some guy gives his daughter a list of things not to do, and one is never date a drummer. So, I mean, there were a few gone before us that you know, I mean, look at Ginger Baker and Tommy Lee and Keith Moon. I mean, there are a few classics out there, aren't there? Yeah. But I like the fact we're mad, because, you know, we're the backbone, and without us, you know, you'd be nowhere, really.
And as you said, the drumming community is, it's tight as it, you know. Well, I mean, we were talking a little earlier about clinics and the Willows, which is sadly no longer there. And you wouldn't remember this, but I sat on the same table as you at a clinic. I've seen you there so many times. And the one I remember was it was Benny Greb with a young Ash
Amazing.
Sullen, and it was packed. It was heaving in there.
Was heaving, yeah. I remember that solo Benny Greb did. It was probably the most musical solo I've ever seen. It was absolutely astonishing. Yeah. It was just everything and everything. Some solos are quite often, look at me chops. But for that, it was just, I was blown away because it was like technically brilliant, but also dynamically brilliant. And it was so musical. It made like the kit sing. Yeah. Which is what you're really supposed to do, not show how loud or how fast you can go. And that stayed with me that when I saw that was amazing.
So the word solo, I think, for that is a slight, it does it a bit of an injustice because it's almost like just a whole piece of music on its own. He was incredible. Yeah. It really was. It
was amazing. I think the problem with the drum solos of the yesteryear was the battles. So you had the Gene Krupa Buddy Rich battle, and it was a kind of like they were serious, It was a kind of like proper throwdown challenge that who's better, and it was kind of, that's very famous. I mean, it's one of the old LP. I've still got it.
Yeah.
It was clear, but there were two very different drummers. Gene Krupa syncopated kind of rhythmical thing, and Rich just like a tornado. It wasn't. It was never going to end well. That.
No.
You know what I mean? It was just not,
But I mean, do you have like a favorite drum? I know it's a horrible question to answer, so I'm not going to ask you for a favorite drummer. But what are your kind of, my favorite few?
Well, probably what I grew up with be obviously Buddy Rich. I'm very fortunate to. Oh, there's a good story here actually. I'm very fortunate to see Buddy Rich play at Southport Floral Hall not long before he died. And he sadly died on my 21st birthday, Buddy Rich. Anyway, spool on. 25 years later, I got a call. Would you host the Buddy Rich 25th anniversary concert at the Palladium with the big band? And I said, are you serious? Is this a joke? And they went, no. And I went, can I play? They went, yes. With the big band. They went, yes. And it was a dream come true. So I hosted with Kathy, Buddy's daughter, the night. And I got to play with the Buddy Rich big band. And it was just,
What did you play?
It was hard because it was so slow.
Yeah.
Is it basically blues?
Yes. Yeah.
That speed.
Yeah. Wow.
Hard. Very hard to keep time that slow.
Yeah.
Very hard. But got a great response, and it was good. And I was on a night with top players that night. Beckel, John Blackwell. It was like he was there, was Ginger Baker. I met him. Oh my God, it was grumpy. Someone went, congratulations, he won a Buddy Rich Scholarship Lifetime Achievement Award. And he went, what do I need another effing award for? And I was like, oh dear.
At least he's consistent.
He is consistent. He is, yeah. He looks like, when that gig, he looked like the caretaker from Harry Potter.
Yeah, I know. I'll get slated for this, but he always reminds me of Steptoe whenever I see Ginger Baker. Unfortunately, I don't mean to speak ill of the dead, but you know what I mean.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. But that was amazing. So Buddy Rich, the list. Buddy Rich, Steve Gadd, obviously,
of course.
So I didn't realise that when Buddy Rich played that gig at the Americas, in that Coliseum type.
Yes.
And he does West Side Story, and he's got a full tux on, and he's literally pouring. That he had a heart attack. He was having a heart attack during that gig, and I didn't
really.
Yeah. Straight after that, he was off.
Wow.
That was amazing. That night, the heat and in a tux. He went, no, that night, she said, and I went, I didn't know that. So Kathy told me that after that, I've got that on VHS somewhere, but I'm sure you can watch it.
Yeah, it's probably on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah. I think it's Sinatra, wasn't it, that night? Wasn't it? He was singing.
I can't remember. I must.
The Americas. I remember it being in like a an amazingly lit kind of Roman Colosseum with the big band, and they did West Side Story medley, and he played amazingly, but then he had a heart attack.
Wow, that's dedication for you.
So, oh my God! So let me think. Vinnie Colaiuta.
Yeah.
Because he's everything. He can play all styles. He's like he ticks all the boxes. He can do anything. Veckel, I love. Or is it Weckel? I don't know. I don't know what the
Weckel. I call him Weckel, but I'm not the authority.
Weckel. Yeah, because but I do like that kind of I like that kind of fusion that he does as well. I had a cassette and the charts, the Dave Weckel thing.
Right.
So you'd listen along and play along, but the charts were so, oh my God, it was like, it was so hard to read. So let me think. There's so many, aren't there?
I know, it's a horrible question, isn't it? It's not a nice question.
They're up there. Gard and Colliard to Rich. John Bonham.
Yeah, it was.
Because that bass drumming on, which I still can't play properly. I keep trying. It's one of my bucket lists is to Good Times, Bad Times.
Oh, yeah.
That bass drum.
Fiendishly difficult.
I can play Fool in the Rain. That's okay. I can play that now because that's when they break down. Oh, Jeff Porcaro, he's great. Right, when he breaks down that shuffle. But then it's a kind of combo with Purdy. Bernard Purdy, of course, he's great. But yeah, funk's my thing, really. I mean, but they go, what kind of there's an interesting question happens with drumming. They go, what kind of drummer are you? And I've made the mistake of going, well, I'm a funk drummer. And I go, no, I'm not. I play anything. I've been playing 38 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I kind of like, and the beauty of drumming in the working men's clubs is that you get used to phrasing, so you know when it stops and starts and when the dynamics are, and you can. And that's a great way to kind of, when you're young. The great thing with drumming is maturity makes you a better drummer.
Yeah, no question.
It's not about fast and loud. It's about dynamics and knowing when to be quiet, and that's when you get the gig. You find out later that it's all very well being able to play double bass drums at, Slipknot speed, which he's amazing at.
Of course.
Joey Jordison. What? There's some amazing like thrash. That world I don't really, because I don't really like the music.
Yeah.
I love the technical ability of those guys. It's just like, off the scale, but it's not something I would want to be able to do. No. Me and Craig Blundell call them fuggerduggers.
Yeah, well, it's true, isn't it? That's it.
Yeah, the fugger crew. So, but yeah, over the years, I've done one of those Freddie G clinics with Craig Blundell, and Steve White's a very good friend because I know his wife Sally.
Yes, so of course.
Steve and Craig, two very very, very different drummers, but both absolutely amazing.
Yep. Yeah.
So there's a nice little set of players.
Absolutely. And tell me, John, and I've often wondered this: which came first? Was it the acting or the drumming?
Well, the drumming at 11, but I always wanted to be an actor, so it kind of went this way: drumming. Then I did musical theatre. You see, until I did The Masked Singer. No one knew I could sing. So I started really in musical theatre at school. So I did Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah.
Well, that's prog rock.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Well, some of the time signatures in that is it's just like, I really can't equate looking, where do Andrew Lloyd Webber's funk chops come from? Look at that man. It's just like you would never, there's a soul in that man.
Yeah,
it's the real soul, unless he had help. Which my suspicion is he did. But, yeah, what an amazing prog rock kind of chart that is. Jesus Christ Superstar. So I did Joseph and that. And that. Then I did
you didn't sing Gethsemane, did you? Because that's a hell of a song to sing.
The Garden of Gethsemane. Yeah, that's Jesus sings that. I was Judas.
All right.
Which is really hard anyway.
Yeah.
For a what would I have been? 15 when I sang that. And that's hard, but you know. So I did drumming, kept that going. Drumming in the work. Well, a lot of people were out in town getting pissed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like swearing, but it's
the best way of describing it.
Yeah. When everyone was out and about, I was drumming and I was earning money. You know, and I loved it. Although there weren't many girls there, it was mainly old ladies playing bingo. To be truthful, I did miss the female of my age contingent. I did kind of like lose out to the barley wine drinking bingo players with blue hair. So that's the downside of it. There was no kind of, because girls like drummers, and unfortunately I don't like octogenarians. So, I mean, I do very much, but not in that way.
Not in that way, no.
No. So, so it kind of went drumming, drama, and then went to drama school, but I needed to get my equity card. And so I did stand-up, and then I became a stand-up. So now I realised, particularly one bit of advice I would give to anyone following what's just happened post-pandemic. Well, we're not post it, are we?
Not yet, no.
No. It is always have plenty of strings to your bow, because it's not good enough just to be able to do one thing. Be other things. To be able to do, because I'm a drummer, an actor, writer, comedian, impressionist. I mean, DJ. I try and learn something new all the time. Try and expand my skill set. So there's always something. There's always something there to do. Sure. It's like Buddy Rich, Steve Gadd. They were great tap dancers.
Yeah.
Buddy Rich was a black belt in karate, and it's like, I don't know whether you learn money from those things, but what I would suggest is don't just be a drummer. Be other things. Yeah.
The thing is, you can be other things in music as well, can't you? You can teach, you can do sound, you can do whatever, as long as you
exactly.
Yeah. Was there ever a chance that drums was going to be a profession, or was that kind of?
Well, it's kind of my drum teacher had an idea that I go to get a scholarship and go to America and to do music and drumming. Which but there was the very big movement of the marching. What's it called? Something line.
Oh, drumline.
Drumline, kind of those. Well, we weren't really doing that much. We were just kind of snare and cymbals and a big bass drum, but they were doing all like Hence, I think they were partly responsible for the concert tom.
Yeah, well, the quads as they called it, wasn't it? Yeah,
concert toms. Everyone I'd say that was when I grew up with it. Was you had to extend your kit, so I had 1, 2, 3 tom kit, and then it was always in the same finish. Get a concert tom, or the probably one of the things you'll see quite prevalently on eBay, rototoms. So a rototom, you'd hit it and it'd go, and turning it would tighten the head. They're quite cool, I think.
Yeah, in certain settings,
Yeah, for the right setting, absolutely. Yeah. Never owned a gong.
They are for sale.
Do you have one?
I have actually. I've had a gong, yes. Not for long, but I did have it, yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's the ultimate, isn't it, behind?
Yeah. I don't really love the rock god enough for a gong, so I was like, you know what? Just more to carry and set up.
Just another thing to dust.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've always used a 4-piece kit, never anymore, bare minimum. And I think it's just from laziness rather than anything.
It's the worst part, it's the D-rig, isn't it? And one working men's club I worked in, they wouldn't insure me. So it's a D-rig every year, take it back. Who can leave it with a,
Yeah.
But it was probably good because I still got the practice in the week,
Yeah, of course.
At the time. But that's a nightmare. The D-rig. But my dad's probably the best roadie I know because he's so good. Yeah. Brilliant. But of course, with the 24-inch bass drum that I started with, it was his company car had to be a hatchback.
It's so nice to talk to you about this side of thing because, as I say, I'm sure a lot of people will go, drummer's show, but it's been a huge part, and it still is a huge part of your life, isn't it? Do you play? Do you have a kit at home?
Yeah, 2. I've got a TD20 with a 25 expansion card on it.
Brilliant.
And I love that because that means that I've got, although I am a little tired of I've had a go on the newer ones and it's all a bit kind of computered. I kind of like that. There's a built-in bank with a dial.
Yep.
And I go Latin and play along. So it's all right at playing. The thing is, playing an acoustic kit with no music are kind of like, but with the advances in digital. So I've got a Roland TD-20 but 25 card. But when I got the card, there was an expansion card came out for it. I was hoping for more loops and more samples to play with, but it was more kits.
Yeah.
And I was a bit disappointed because some of those loops and samples are a little bit John Shuttleworth for me, a bit Bon Tempo.
Yeah.
But there's a TD, was it the 50 came out?
Yeah.
And that was a little bit more, I think you had to MIDI it with a computer to kind of really, but I find it very user-friendly just to access patterns and kits.
Sure.
And I've still got that.
Yeah.
So that's great. Put my headphones on, neighbour-friendly.
Yeah,
and that's great. I'll have a burn on that. I must admit, I thought in the proper lockdown, I would have been all over it, but I didn't. I've kind of lost my mojo, and I think I need to play with a band. That's what I need to do. I've not done it for a long time. Sometimes I'll go, he plays, let him on, and I know, and that's great. But it's like only usually one song, you know.
Yeah, sure.
But I can't really put an ad in the paper. Drummer seeks band.
Bit busy for that.
Yeah, but when I get on it, I enjoy it. But I think one thing always inspires me is something like I give myself a challenge.
Yeah.
So like my mate showed me Fool in the Rain and I went, oh, right. I said, I think I can play that. And he went, do it and send it me. And I did. And I really loved the process of getting it just right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like set yourself challenges. If your mojo's going, I think that's it. I think another trip to Freddie G probably do me good. The drum camp at Winchester, that probably do me.
Yeah, well, Greg's on this one, isn't he, this year?
Greg Bissonette, he's a great player. Yeah, great player. He was getting into all the tabla stuff last time I saw him. So
yeah.
He was doing all that, all that stuff. You learn vocally before you play, don't you? You learn to say it, sing it.
Yeah, that sounds too complicated for me. But now I want to mention something, and I've seen you a few times. And one of the times was I'm convinced you were there. I'm pretty certain was Stick It to MS in Birmingham. Now that was a hell of an event, wasn't it?
It was. I've done 2 of those now.
There was one in Manchester, wasn't there? A later day.
I did another one. So I kind of hosted the one in Birmingham. It was part of Drumfest, and that was a bit of a nightmare really because I had to kind of keep the show running. And it was Rick Prince at Granada who organised it, and so I ran the show. But it was kind of like, not only was it was everyone playing together and how we would do it and how we would get a metronome that people would work. That would so weird that I only spoke to my 11-year-old daughter was talking about world records, and I went, "Oh, I'm part of a world record." She went, "What?" She didn't know. Anyway, then the Americans beat us with a thing called Woodstick.
Yes, I remember.
More, but then we went and redid it in Manchester, and we still hold it. But I believe that we still hold the world record. But what an amazing thing for people to bring their own kits and turn up in this huge arena and set up women, old women, men, children, everybody.
Yeah,
with a drum kit playing. It was just like.
The noise was sickening.
It was unbelievable, wasn't it? It was unbelievable. It was, and there's that thing, it's trying to crowd control. It was not so much comparing because drummers are drummers and they can't sit still and they need to still keep and just it. There's always someone doing something, There was never silence.
No.
But it was great. It was great. We raised a load of money for charity, part of 2 world records.
Yeah.
So wow.
And it was great to see the likes of, obviously they were set up in rows for anybody who hasn't seen any of the footage or photographs. But some of the guys who'd been on the Drumfest over the previous day, I mean, I think I remember Jojo Mayer and
Jojo Mayer,
Gavin Harrison, I think was there.
Yeah,
and Jason Bittner as well was there, and these guys are wandering around, and it was superb. It really was.
It was great. It was really good. I mean, Yeah, quite what a feat. If you mean logistics wise,
they were amazing.
The first time at Birmingham, I turned up with my kit, and they went, "No, you don't do anything now, John." And I went, "What?" It's the first time I have my own drum tech, because really, I'm not a drummer. I mean, I'm a drummer,
yeah,
and I am a drummer, but I've never been in the circumstances where I have my own drum tech who took everything on a trolley and set it up for me, and then got me to readjust where everything was. That was like, oh my God, I've arrived. But that's like day to day for pros. But I had my own drum tech that day, and it was like, what? I don't have to, I don't have to do it myself. They went, no, leave it to us. And I went, oh, okay.
Amazing.
So that was amazing. But yeah, how heartwarming. So many people, it was
really was
joyous. And then they said, we're doing it again. And I went, what? And they went in Manchester at Event City. But it was such a well-oiled machine. Yeah. It was great. It was great to be part of it. Bit of history again. So,
well, that was amazing. And then I'd like to talk about the Jonathon Ross Show when you were on with Phil Collins. I don't know if you knew Phil previously to that show.
I didn't know Phil, and so Cold Feet came back with a bang. After 13 years of absence, and I'd not done Jonathon's show before. I knew Jonathon before. Mm-hmm. I knew Jonathon very well because I worked with him on Saturday Zoo. So Jonathon's an old mate. Then they said to me, "Oh, is John a drummer?" And they went, "Yeah." And they kind of went. The researcher rang me and went, "Phil Collins is coming on." I went, "What?" They went, "Yeah, he's coming on." Why? And they went, "Would you be prepared to drum?" I went, "What with Phil?" He went, "No, Phil's not playing at the moment." And I went, "What, play in front of Phil Collins?" And they went, "Yeah." And they went, "All right." So I had to remember, right, come on, you're pro standards, you can play, And what it was I had to listen to a tune in my headphones. So it's named that tune.
Yeah.
Is it Phil or is it not? And basically, I know all this stuff, and I gave it my best shot, and it came over well. It did. And Phil was funny that night. We was lovely. I was quite shocked to see how frail he was, though. It was kind of like when you remember someone, you've not been in the limelight for long, and I kind of like
You remember Buster, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
going loco in Acapulco.
Yeah.
And he was quite frail, and it made me feel a bit sad, really. But I kind of like, it's one of those things that there's I meet other actors and like might be, and they'll go, "Oh, I play," and I go, "Oh, do you? I didn't know." And they go, "Yeah," and I go, "There you go," and I'll got some pens here. Look, there you go. I'll go, "There you go," and they get on my kit. And they get off, and I go, "No, you can't really, can you?" It's like, it's just like, there's nothing worse. It's like giving someone the keys to your car, innit?
Yeah.
It's great when you know they can play, but when you don't know, it's that kind of thing. It's quite scary, and I know why in pits at theatres.
Yeah.
Why drummers take the cymbals and bass drum pedal home every night.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, snare. It's kind of like, what idiot's going to get on there? It's
idiot magnets. They are. That's what it is. It's an idiot magnet.
Yeah, treated with respect. Or clothes dryers. So many blokes go, "Oh, I'm going to get a set of drums." Well, are you going to play them? Are you going to learn to play them? No, there's the clothes are drying on them,
It's great stuff. I mean, I say, I know how much you love drums. I've never spoken to you before, but I've seen you. Were you at the Mission from Gad clinic at the Royal Northern? Did you get along to that one?
I was there, and I met Steve before. Now, somewhere I've got a nice photo with him from the drum shop that was in Eccles.
Yes,
movement.
Of course.
So I met Steve before, and they were very keen to have like a photo with me and Steve, and like, so I've met many of my heroes over the years. I was at that one. Yeah, I went to that one. I've done Benny Greb. I'd tell you one that was a lot of fun back in the day was the Zorro one. Do you remember that?
Oh, I don't know that I was at that one. I don't think I must have missed that one.
And then there was another one. I saw the Keith Carlock one.
Yes.
I saw Benny Grab. Let me think. So Benny Grab.
John Blackwell.
Yeah, was it that one?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
There was another one. It wasn't at the Willows, but it was a very good clinic. And the guy, you might remember it. One of the reasons why, because part of it's endorsement, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
To try and sell some gear. So he invented a mic with a membrane that you put in the bass that made the bass sound, and he was great. So many, aren't there? There's so many.
Oh god.
But yeah,
there's loads.
The last one I went to was with Steve, and we went for a pie in Stockport. We took him for a pie. Was is it Steve Smith?
Yes, at the Royal Northern.
With foreplay.
Yeah.
Steve, he's a great player.
Yeah,
brilliant. But you know what's interesting? One thing I noted about him, I've never played orthodox, right?
Yeah.
I've never played orthodox. I've always played matched.
Yeah.
And he said that over the years, playing orthodox has started to hurt.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he said, I don't play that way very much because he said, I play match now because I don't get any wrist pain.
Right.
And I wonder if because it's an extension of your.
Yeah.
It makes sense, doesn't it? That seems quite, because that originally was for the, it was off
angle of the drum.
Marching, march, to play like that. But I wonder, I'm quite relieved that I don't play. I mean, I'd love to be able to do what Billy Cobham does. I've still got that on dip. See, I'm showing my age now. VHS, I've got the Billy Cobham drum clinic on VHS somewhere. I've not seen it for a while.
Incredible.
Steve White's in the audience, he says, and he asks a question when he's really
Oh, really? I didn't know
I remember saying, he goes, well, I like to play like this, and I like to play like this, and I like to play like this. And then he does the thing where he's using the fulcrum and the tapping, and I was like, oh my God, this man is amazing. So yeah, he's one that I missed out. But what if I ever put my Havisham orchestra on in my house? My mum went, oh my God, I'm going to Hoover. I can't bear this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly.
Too much for her. Too much.
Lovely. I just, I love your enthusiasm for the drums. And it's good to know you're a drum geek, just like the rest of us,
Oh,
even though your career's taken a different path, it's still there, and I'm sure it always will be as well, won't it?
I always. Well, funnily enough, when I was at drama school, one of the first, I was very fortunate because when you're at drama school, they ask you to they don't really like you working when you're at drama school. Sometimes if you get if you get a job while you're there, they ask you to leave and come back in the next year. So I was very fortunate to do a Saturday job, which was spitting image.
Yeah,
with Steve Coogan. So me and Steve did that as a Saturday job, and that was amazing money for a student, I can assure you. Then I auditioned for a touring musical called Bebopaloola, playing Brian Shadows. Brian Bennett.
Yeah, cool.
So I was Brian Bennett in the band that backed Steve. That backed that year was the tour of Gene Vincent and Eddie Cochran. And
right.
Brian Bennett was the drummer, and I played him. One really acting job. I think I had one line. He came over, Eddie Cochran went, he goes, no, Gene Vince, no, it was Eddie came over and went, I'm playing, ting, 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 ting. He goes, what are you playing, man? I went, it's jazz, Mr. Cochran. And he went, no, you want to kind of go, and he went, dude, you got it, dude, you got it, dude. And I kind of like learned rock in a minute. It was like, one of those cheesy moments.
Yeah.
So, but that was great to play all those. I was like, come on, everybody. And, and it was Billy Fury's stuff. And that was with a really accomplished group of actor musicians. And that was in the summer holidays of my second year at drama school.
Couldn't be any more perfect.
I know. So I was, again, I felt I was blessed. And that was a great experience as well. But I'd love to do a drumming. I remember there was a musical, Return to the Forbidden Planet, where they everyone who was in it and played. But yeah, so they know I'm a singer now. Let's see what happens with the drumming. That'd be nice.
Well, you've got too much talent for one man. You really have.
Well, it's learned. That's one I can't stress enough. That I am blessed with a good sense of rhythm. I have to admit. Yeah. But if you think you have a talent in something, try and pursue it. If you're unhappy in your job, maybe it's not the job for you. I feel very blessed and I'm full of gratitude every day that I do jobs I love and get paid for.
Yeah. Doesn't get any better, does it?
In that situation, you can't ask for anything more.
Yeah.
So do a job and you go, oh yeah, sure, we got, oh, just got paid for that. And you think, I had a brilliant time. What a thing. So if you're thinking of changing your job, and you've actually got a talent for something that you want to pursue, do it. I can't stress enough. But as I've always said, practice makes the impossible seem possible.
Seems like a good place to end that to me, I think.
Thank you.
Look,
cheers, Matty.
Thanks so much for this, John. Honestly,
that's all right. I thought, well, you said I'm free till 3:30, which I'm presuming was pickup time, and I thought, well,
yeah,
so am I.
Perfect.
And let's do it. So there you go. Can't beat a bit of spontaneity.
Wonderful. Look, John, thank you so much, mate. It's been great talking to you.
Okay.
And hopefully I'll see you at a clinic in the not too distant
Let's
future.
hope so. Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic.
Take care.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye now. Thank you. Bye-bye.